Welcome in Chiefs Kingdom to Chiefs Latest, your one-stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs in 15 minutes or less. It is your host, Calvin Silvers. Happy Wednesday. We finally made it to the middle of the week, and boy, it's been nothing but nonstop action. On Monday, we talked about Derek Notty's return to Kansas City. Yesterday, the Chiefs had to set their initial 53-man roster, and the rest of the way, I expect some shuffling among that roster, maybe through some wire additions or even some trades. We're about to dive into it all, but before we do, you know the drill. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications because we have daily, that's right, daily videos here at Chiefs Latest, Monday through Friday. And with the regular season right around the corner, you're not going to want to miss any of the news, rumors, or actions regarding the Kansas City Chiefs. So please hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. And before we dive into this first topic, I just want to take a second to thank you guys for over 300 subscribers. It truly means a lot. I love your guys' support, and let's just keep it going. All right, back to the four topics at hand. As I mentioned, the Chiefs set their initial 53-man roster on Tuesday. There were some bold decisions in there, including adding 3 tight ends. Not in the fact that you added 3, but the fact of who those 3 are. You have Travis Kelce, Noah Gray. You might be stopping me and thinking, oh yeah, Robert Tonyan. No, actually, they decided to keep Jared Wiley. Not only that, 8 wide receivers. That's a rare move for Kansas City. Usually a team that has around 6. You have the core 4, then Tyquan Thornton, Jalen Royals, Nico Remigio, and Jason Brownlee. This is the addition of 8 or keeping 8 is likely because of Rice's looming suspension. The Chiefs also decided to keep 4 running backs, but we know that there's whispers of a trade possibility or just an overall upgrade, so Beach isn't done tweaking the backfield, I don't think, just yet, and the person that would be the odd man out is likely Elijah Mitchell. Now, defensively, the Chiefs let go of veteran defensive tackle Mike Pennell and safety Mike Edwards, and that did raise some eyebrows, with both potentially returning, though, via some roster moves by placing some guys on IR like Jalen Royals or Mar Norman Lott. But the tight end move is crucial. Who you have in that room is going to be big for the Chiefs the whole way, the whole regular season, the whole playoffs, because the Chiefs used 12 personnel in 33.91% of offensive snaps last season. That was second only to AFC West rival, the Las Vegas Raiders. Again, this wide receiver group usually averages 6 players under Reed on the initial 53-man roster. And if you look at Mike Pennell, who they decided to let go last season, he had 17 games played, 25 tackles, and 3 sacks. So what's the impact here? What's the strategy? Well, keeping 3 tight ends, again, prioritizes Andy Reid's versatile sets, but Wiley over Tonyan right now is betting on some youth. 8 wide receivers hedge against Rice's absence. That's going to happen here soon. I'm about to dive into my initial thought on all this here in a second about maybe the Chiefs know something more. But again, you have that suspension coming. You have Remigio's return skills, Brownlee's red zone threat. You wanted to avoid losing him or those guys to waivers. So the Chiefs had to go with 8. Surprisingly, 8. I thought they would at least go with 7. So the fact that they went with 8 is surprising. But again, you didn't want to lose Brownlee to the waivers. Nico Remigio's return ability is something, and Thornton has shown up in training camp. And not only that, you can't let Royals go, who is the rookie that you drafted. But staying with the offense, the running back trade rumor aligns with last year's 22nd ranked rushing attack. Again, 105.3 yards per game. Pennell and Edwards cuts open flexibility for trades, or just going with youth like you have at the safety position in Christian Roland Wallace. So this initial roster leans into offensive depth with 8 wide receivers, likely going to have 4 tight ends. And right now, this overall roster just showcases a youth-driven, almost trade-ready approach for some positions, which I don't mind because you, as a Super Bowl contender with your window still open, whatever moves you need to make right away or for long-term, you have to do. And so the fact that the Chiefs know that, are willing to make some, potential trades here soon, just shows why Brett Beach is such a good GM. But again, I want to talk about some observations and surprises about this initial 53-man roster. Going back to that Wiley and Tunyon situation, of course, Tunyon's release may lead to a return after some IR moves, suggesting a calculated roster shuffle to keep other talents like Pennell in the fold as well. So I think the Chiefs did talk to these guys under the table and said, hey, we're going to release you. We're going to put some of these other guys on IR. We're going to allow you to come back. But some surprises other than Jared Wiley is undrafted linebacker Cooper McDonald. He was able to lock a spot on this 53-man roster. He had some good plays last preseason game. He had a sack in there. I think he is the biggest shocker of this 53-man roster, proving that his minicamp tryout was no fluke, and there's a reason why you host those. McDonald's emergence reflects Spags' loves for athletic linebackers, but it did come at the expense of Cam Jones. Mike Edwards cut with Deion Bush on IR. It either does one of two things. It either, one, clears a spot for a trade, which is tough, though, at a number 31, waiver priority. Or the second thing that it does is it just boosts your young core like Christian Roland Wallace, who does fit in Spags' versatile secondary. Going back to the 8 wide receiver strategy, it makes me wonder if there is knowledge that there is a suspension coming before the season starts. Again, Rice and his group can get a deal done with the NFLPA. They could bargain down to 6 games. They could bargain down to 4. Who knows? But the fact is, they could get a deal done before September 30th. The Chiefs might know this, and that's why they went with 8 wide receivers. So yes, Wiley, McDonald, and the 8 wide receiver haul are jaw-dropping moves, but Tunyon and Pennell's cuts are probably just likely temporary. As we know, though, this is all preliminary, and the roster is going to go through some changes, some big changes likely, even before the Week 1 matchup versus the Chargers. So don't worry if you see someone you like let go. There is a possibility they could come back. Or if you don't like someone that made the roster, their spot might not be as solidified as you think. And speaking of that, the Chiefs could go around and pick up other people's quote-unquote trash. That's right. The Chiefs could score a waiver wire pickup with veteran cornerback Mike Holton, who was recently cut by Miami. And you might do this especially with Najee Johnson on the reserve/injured and Spags needing some versatile pieces in a fragile secondary. Hilton's knack for run support, his knack for nickel coverage, plus his Super Bowl run with the Bengals makes him a low-risk, high-reward fit for Kansas City's defense. Spags loves disguised pressure that meshes perfectly with Hilton's blitzing ability, and his mentorship could elevate rookie Noel Williams, much like he guided Cam Sutton in Pittsburgh. If you look at his stats last season, PFF grade of 75.8, that was 24th among cornerbacks, 91.7 run defensive grade, 55 blitz snaps, and he created 6 pressures. The Chiefs' cap space easily fits Hilton's $1.255 million salary. At 31, yes, he's older, but he's ideal for situational nickel packages, and Andy Reid loves veterans who excel in big moments. So grabbing Hilton would be a savvy move. It's going to add some veteran grit, or just a veteran overall. It's going to add some nickel expertise to that room. And it just gives you a safety valve there. And it's a cheap contract. And it's going to provide some mentorship potential. I think this would fit with Spags' defense, but I'm not sure that this is the position that needs the most depth right now at this very moment. So I think the Chiefs need to shop elsewhere, maybe more specifically safety. You can even argue D-tackle. I just don't think corner is the most specific spot, but this would be not a terrible fit for the Chiefs overall. But I will tell you what is a terrible fit for the Chiefs. I've squashed some rumors or some just fun speculations in the past. Micah Parsons was one, Stephon Diggs was another, and I'm here to play, party pooper again. I'm going to shut down some more rumors or just speculations because the Chiefs are not going to reunite with Mecole Hardman, and they're not going to reunite with Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who was recently cut by the Seahawks, Hardman by the Packers. I get it. Kansas City loves bringing back familiar faces, just like they did with Hardman in a trade and what they just did with Noddy this week. But the wide receiver room, potentially Mahomes' deepest, has no room for nostalgia traps. Again, not only is it the deepest talent-wise, but it's also the deepest in bodies with 8. That's the most under Andy Reid. I get it. Hardman's 2023 Super Bowl touchdown, Valdez-Scantling's AFC Championship catch, they were clutch. But look at their output last season. Doesn't justify, cutting some young guns like Thornton, Remigio, or even Brownlee. And Valdez-Scantling's drop issues, that is a storyline that we don't need to revisit. That is a storyline we don't need to be following the Chiefs again. Hardman's minimal production doesn't move the needle for a stacked receiver core. The Chiefs have speed. They have depth. So Hardman, Valdez-Scantling, they're redundant. Cutting Thornton or Remigio for either also would stall your youth development. Their past heroics, they don't outweigh the Chiefs' wide receiver surplus. Let Thornton, let Remigio, let Brownlee work instead of chasing yesterday's names. So yeah, I'm shutting that down real quick. Don't even think about it. And if the Chiefs do it, call me a very shocked man. Well, that is all that we have for this Wednesday's episode of Cheifs Latest. Like I mentioned, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. And let me know your thoughts on this initial 53-man roster. What are your favorite things about it? And what are some things that you don't like about it? And do you think we could get Mike Hilton? Should we pick him up? Let me know your thoughts there. As I mentioned, I am your host, Calvin Silvers. You are listening to Cheifs Latest. And until next time, have a good one.